Ukamindaya Yuwala. In my traditional language, Gunggari language, that is hello and welcome. First of all, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are doing this recording today. I also want to pay my respects to our elders both past, present and emerging, and also I must acknowledge sorry business. I am a Gurru-gurru descendant and my people come from southwest Queensland. I was born in a small place called Mitchell, and this is my father's traditional land. So on my father's side, I identify as Gunggari, Kamilaroi, and on my mother's side, I identify as Bidjara. So both of my parents come from southwest Queensland, and one of the things that they did express to all of us, my siblings, was to get a good education. So I was very honoured to be able and pleased that we were able to do that. When I moved away from Mitchell, moved to Logan City, and I'm still living in Logan today, some 40 years later. We have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and we are also blessed that we have 3 grandchildren. My art is traditionally from an Aboriginal perspective, and I use Aboriginal traditional art styles and also some contemporary. I first became associated with the Chung Tian temple in about 2010, and it was an introduction that was given to me to come and meet with the temple and how we could start to form relationships between the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community and the temple itself. And that grew from that time, and then in 2013 the Logan Elders, at that time I was the president of the Logan Elders, we came and did a blessing of the Bodhi tree. And it was a very significant event because it was about a blessing of the soil, and it's something that we believe in our own cultural practices, that if we give a blessing to the soil will provide for us. And that at that time we took some soil from under the Bodhi tree and we placed it in a container, and we held that for 12 months. It stayed here at the temple, and then 12 months later we came back and we then returned that soil back to its original place. And just recently, visiting here again, I can see that the Bodhi tree has just grown so much. So since 2013, I have been coming here on many occasions, and I have been invited to be a guest speaker and also to present some of my earlier artwork with an art exhibition here with other artists, and that has really inspired me to do more. So I have a long association with the Chung Tian temple, and I'm pleased that we have been able to continue with that relationship, to strengthen our relationship and to have a better understanding and a shared understanding of both cultures. And what I have wanted to introduce on this particular occasion through my artwork is that I have also have Chinese heritage. So my association with the Chung Tian temple has now developed into having an exhibition of my artwork, but I'm also sharing this with my daughter Sherry, who has a different style, but we want to share our own artistic style with you, but talk more about our culture and how we can build on that together. A lot of my art is to do with the environment, so I incorporate a lot of things around land, with our people and culture and language. When you go through and see the art exhibition, you will notice that there are Chinese lanterns here, and that was something that was asked of me. Why would I be doing Aboriginal art on Chinese lanterns? And when I explain to people that this is part of my cultural heritage, my great-grandmother is Chinese, and so I wanted to develop a unique way of sharing that art and the cultures together. And if you have a look around you and look behind me, there are Chinese lanterns, and they all have a distinct Aboriginal picture, an artwork that often shares the story about who we are as First Nations people. And my art has been exhibited in many other art forums. So I've had 2 exhibitions in the Taiwanese Community Centre at Sunnybank. I have also had my art exhibited in Taiwan last year, and then I have been invited back to the Chung Temple in 2023 for the Chinese New Year celebrations. My daughter Sherry has a different style, so she does pour of acrylic paints, and her artwork has very vibrant colours, I would say, that when you look at the artwork you can see the different patterns that are formed, but you can take away your own story or what the images may give to you. So it's a personal thing, how we look at art and then how we interpret that art. I have 2 large pieces here today. One is called Ceremonies and the other one is called Peace and Harmony. So very particular. They do relate to Aboriginal culture, my culture, but it's my expression through art that I want to share some of my culture. So Peace and Harmony is mainly about how we can find healing through art. And many people say that they have found art to be very therapeutic. I find it to be very, very therapeutic as well. And with the Peace and Harmony exhibition, you can see the colours in there, the purples and the blues, and how they ease us into that state of calmness and well-being. The Ceremonies art piece is about how we attend ceremonies, whether it is in traditional times or even today. So we go home for ceremonies. I go home to Gunggari country for ceremonies, and we continue to practice our culture, and we take our children and our grandchildren home for those occasions when we can join with other family members and we can still continue with our cultural practices. The artwork that is on display during this exhibition focuses on my Chinese cultural heritage and Aboriginal cultural heritage. So what I have chosen to do is to incorporate the 2 cultures together. And the way that I am doing this is by painting Aboriginal art on Chinese lanterns. It's something very unique, and people have said they have not seen it before. But it's a technique that is, it takes time and patience. So if you can imagine painting on rice paper, it has to be very delicate. So taking time to do the artwork, but making sure it is very specific, that is what I have done. Each of these lanterns have a different style, they have a different pattern, but you can see that there are some that have a story that goes with that. What I also have on exhibition is the umbrellas that I have painted, but I have also incorporated the dots that fit very nicely with the umbrella patterns. So on the red umbrella, or the red and pink umbrella, I've incorporated the colours in dots. And to match with that is also a Chinese lantern that tells a story about the land and how we are connected to that. The other umbrella is the peace doves, and when I looked at that I thought this is to do with how we as Aboriginal people and First Nations people connect with the universe. So on this particular umbrella you can see the peace doves, but incorporated into that also are the dots, the Aboriginal art style of using dots to tell a story. The lantern itself is about pathways in the sky, and it talks about how our people would travel throughout the universe, and they were always very much connected to the sky in everything, you know, that they did for centuries. And these are two very unique pieces in this exhibition that I'm sure that you will enjoy.